evening, everybody. It's Sammy here at Sammy J Stitches. It is Wednesday, November 7th. It's been 2 weeks since I was here. Time just kind of got away from me. There's been lots going on. It's been crazy. And then I've also been working on so many projects. I was like, I'm going to have to show so much. I just don't really have the energy for it tonight. And then, so even tonight I was like, we had our monthly virtual stitch-in on Virtual Stitchers. Normally we wouldn't be done yet, but it was kind of a slow night being a Wednesday. And I was like, I should go ahead and do it. I'm in a groove with my stitching. Like, I don't want to put it down. And I was like, but the longer I wait, the more projects I have to show. And I'll explain why in a minute. So I was like, we're just going to knock this out. And it means it's not the most professional looking. I didn't even gather everything. I'm going to kind of grab it as I need to. My lighting is not great, but here we are. I really shouldn't have forgotten the date today. Today is my 12-year wedding anniversary. So my husband and I have been together for 15 years, married 12 today. And what are we doing to spend the time? We ate dinner together, and now he's playing a game in the other room, and I was on Virtual Stitchers. Hey, it's what makes us both happy, and we let each other do what the other person enjoys, and after I'm done with the video, I'm going to go sit next to him and stitch, but this is what we do, and we're happy. So, here we go. 2 weeks since the last time I talked to y'all. Halloween hadn't even happened yet. We were still working on spinning that small wheel. So I last spoke to y'all on October 25th, 24th, 24th, 25th, somewhere in there. Okay, so I don't even know. It's been so hectic. I don't even know where I was at or what was going on. Okay, so let's just get into the whips, and then if I think of what was going on in my life at the time, I will let you know. So the first thing I spun after the last video was one of the Advent animals. It was one I had already started, which was Cassie Cow, so you did see it last video. I then proceeded to finish it, right? Let me double check that before I say that. Yes, I finished her. So, there she is, 14, Cassie Cow. It's still taking me forever to get through these, y'all. It really should not take me this long. So after I finished her, then I spun again. Let's see what I got. Fairy Tale Lands. 1? No, 2. Fairy Tale Lands 2. So, did I work on it? Yes, I did. Okay. Fairy Tale Lands 2. See, I'm having to dig through this thing to find them. Usually I keep this in order by whip, how they are on my whip tracker, but this last couple weeks it's been kind of like toss it back in after you're done working on it. Worked on so many things. For a sec. So I worked on trying to get our Prince a face because that had really been bothering me. So Prince is almost completed, but I made sure that he got a face with backstitch and all, so that he looks normal. And I was working on his body and the trees around him. So like these trees over here are new. This one got filled in a little bit more. That's what I'm work on him and then work my way down, because I finished the top all the way over, and then I'm gonna finish the page, so that will go, you know, to bottom of Snow White and over all of this. So we'll get a little bit of Beauty and the Beast in there. That'll be about it. Snow White's already done for this page. Oh, there's the horse right there that we still have to work on. So, got that one done. Well, not done. Did some work on that one for the rest of that evening. And then it was time to go home. I will make that more organized later. Let's see, then I'm having to go through my pictures to remember because it's been so long. Let me pull up a calendar. Maybe that'll help me remember some stuff. 25. Was it Sunday? Okay. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong month. That's why. That's September. The next thing I spun was a new Advent animal. So I still had one partially not done, but anytime I spin Advent animal, I go ahead and start another one. And this has been worked on again. No, I think this was the one night that I worked on it. I got a lot of her done. A lot of white. I was kind of dreading that, but this is Sheila Sheep. So she is like, what, 70-80% done. So next time she comes out, she will most definitely be completed. Okay. The next thing we worked on, at that point, it's Saturday. I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Saturday. Stitch releases on Saturday. Is this the week that it released on Friday? No, this is Saturday. Okay. So you're actually going to see 2 weeks of Stitch on here because I've completed both weeks since I last saw you. So week 3, I believe, was these purple leaves going to this one, this one and this one, you know, those on the top and bottom, and then these blue add-ons. I actually ended up having to change because the original palette I picked, the blue was not going to work, so I went with something darker and richer. And even though it doesn't really pop in the camera, it does in real life. So there's that. And then this last week it released on Friday, and they released the third leaf on each of these, this little piece in the middle, and this border right here. So I don't know about you, but I still have no clue what this is, or if it's like this, or if it's like this. I don't even know. They're keeping us in suspense. It's driving me crazy. I have no real guesses when it comes to it. I do feel like as soon as they show us what's going on with that 69 up top, we're going to know what's going on, which is why they're probably going to wait a little longer. So, that was Saturday the 27th. A little bit into the 20th. Well, no, I finished it just right around midnight. And then I spun again. Maybe. There's going to be a way to fast forward this. Oh, and I spun my mini Phantom of the Masquerade. Just don't feel like I have enough light in here. It's okay. My videoing is going to be changing soon. We're rearranging parts of the house to accommodate things like this. So I'm not sure you're going to be able to see much of a difference. Oh, there's a story here. Oh, I rage quit this. That little saying comes from my son. He tells me all the time, I made somebody rage quit. So I've got, go this way, two more diagonals done. I'll let you get a little closer sneak peek, maybe. I'm not really good at this. Anyway, when I got over close to, because you see I worked this all the way down the page, so this is the bottom of this page, something wasn't lining up. And so I was like, if I missed a row and all of this is going to have to be ripped out, I quit. I'm not doing it anymore. There's no way I'm pulling out 1 over 1 on, what, 28 count, 25 count, something like that. There's no way. I'm not ripping all that out. And even if I do, it's going to tear it up so much, I'm not going to re-stitch it all. I ended up figuring it out. It was not counted improperly. I made some slight adjustments or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I got it figured out and I will keep going with it. But it did make me stop for that evening and go, nope. Oh, no. When you think you have screwed up half a page on a heaven and earth design, So, I didn't. It will come back out soon. But, there it is. That was my next thing. So then, so we started at some point during that week. I'm not exactly sure what day. I'm pretty sure it might have been the day I was working on that. So it might have been first thing Sunday morning. First thing Saturday morning. So it was actually before Skiatch. My husband's grandfather passed away. It was something we knew was coming. He had been on hospice for about a week. We spent every moment we could by his bedside letting him know it was okay to let go. He was, I believe, 89 years old. He lived a very, very full life. Like, the stories this man would tell were absolutely amazing. And so, you know, at that point, you appreciate the life that he's had and appreciate that he needs to move on. So, Monday, we had the funeral, so I didn't do any stitching. After the funeral, my husband and I decided to go take a look at a car that we've been, cat and dog are playing, that we've had our eye on, because we had some trouble with the car. We own a Corolla. We were having some trouble with it, so we were considering getting a new car before the other car died. So we went, we looked, fell in love with the car. They wouldn't come down on the price, so we said, no thanks. So I started talking to other dealerships over the next couple days, and it really didn't do any stitching on those days off because between the funeral and just other things we had going on, and then Halloween, it just wasn't a good time to sit down and stitch. So I spoke with a couple dealerships. One was going to give me a pretty decent price on it, but I would have to drive about 5 hours. Another place about 2 hours down the road was working on coming down to my price. And I told them, no, I think I'm going to wait. And they said, well, it's the last, this was on Halloween. They said, it's the last day of the month. If you can sign today, I knew my husband couldn't, but if I could, they would still hold the car until he came and signed, but they can consider it sold. Meet their quota, they would come down to my price. So I jumped in the car and I Drove the 2 hours there, and on the way, the car was acting up again. Signed papers on the new car, drove home, didn't even make it home before the engine blew on my Corolla. So, needless to say, we went back the next day, and my husband signed papers, brand new car. We bought a 2019 Honda Insight. They didn't make them in 2018. I think the last time they made them was 2014, and they look completely different than they did then. It is a hybrid. The body style is supposed to be similar to the Civic in the way that it runs and the way that it feels. So we're very excited to have the new car. So then I went back to work on Thursday, November 1st. And as I explained in the last video, I joined an event that began November 1st called Bingo. And so I took several of my projects, not all of them, and I listed out the DMC that I use in each of those projects. And then from there, I used a spinning wheel to create 5 bingo cards. Some numbers came up on all cards. Some numbers didn't come on any of the cards. I'm learning a lot since I started the bingo in that I should have made sure that as many of the numbers got on there as possible instead of just completely randomizing it. But that's beside the point. So the first day, I got 4 numbers. 4 numbers the first day. So I had 50 stitches on 4 different projects. And then what I did that day was, well, I'll tell you when I get there. Because kind of been flying by the seat of my pants when it comes to rotation and spinning and all that. So the other thing I learned is that maybe I should pick numbers close to where I'm working, because the light pink down here, that was the number that was on my bingo card, or that got spun that day. So I had to do a little bit of work to get to it, but then put in, I believe it's 100 stitches. I believe that was on 2 bingo cards. So this is Owl Dad by Brooks Books. And there's something about when you just put a few stitches in a project and then change projects that kind of, I don't know, it helps me remember how much I enjoyed the project, but yet not having to commit to it again. I don't know. It's helped the stitchy bug come alive. The next one is Dash Away. This one has actually come up twice, so I will explain both. The first night that I got bingo, which is why it's the one I just grabbed, the color was this 970, I believe. Oh my goodness. So these, I was able to easily count from here and come down and do this. Another night, I can't tell you which night, but another night, 37.99 was one of my colors, so I ended up finishing out the word Dasher completely because of it. So that's 2 of my bingo numbers and where my project is now. All the interruptions tonight, by the way, all of them. Next, I worked on my welcome to. Show you in full what it looks like. I'm almost halfway done. I can tell it kind of looks like this. This is 1 page. There's still just a little bit of stitching like right in here, mostly white, that I need to do before I can consider this completed. And of course there will be back stitching in here, but I need to finish that whole box before I start on that. So then the number that I spun, or that was spun, that was on my card. 1 second. The cat was somewhere it wasn't supposed to be. So the number that was spun, that was on my bingo card, it was this gray that's right under the bird. And over here, and it made me extend into the new page. This white is getting washed out, but you can see there. So that was interesting to try and do, but hey, all good. All good. Okay. So then lastly, now this last color was on 3 of my projects. I had to figure out where it was closest or easiest to stitch, and that was on my autumn wreath. So what I decided to do at this point, when I finish my 50 stitches here, which is just go ahead and work on this the rest of the night. I didn't want to do too much work to it because several of the colors are on the bingo cards, and I don't want to use up those colors and then, you know, not be able to stitch on them when I need to, or when they get called, not have the numbers available. So what I did was I just continued working on the color that I got called, because it won't get called again, right? So it was this golden color that kind of comes around the flower all the way. So I finished it completely in this area, which was more than 50 stitches, but you get it. And then I came up and I started working on some of the back stitching to get caught up on that. So this is where this piece is. I believe that wreath is going to be halfway done when I finish that little bit of stitching down there. So, so gorgeous. So gorgeous. I really need to trim this fabric because look at this. What? That's a lot of fabric and I'm not even going to use just a little piece of it. It was one of my first times buying fabric at an L&S, and I didn't know to tell her to cut it. So I think I bought a half or a full yard. I don't know, it was like $50 something. And I was like, what? Husband's gonna kill me. But it's all good. I'll use it for other things because it's gorgeous. And I don't know who makes it in order to, you know, order more. So it's a good thing I got a lot. That was all bingo the first day. And like I said, by the time I got done with those, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I had just a couple more hours to work on something I didn't want to pull out. Didn't want to spin the wheel and pull out something new, so I just continued to work on autumn wreath. I've been going back and forth, depending on the project, depending on the colors, depending on what time of night it is. I will either continue to work on the last project that I work on, or I will spin the wheel. So that was day 1. Let me figure out where day 2 was. It's been a little while. And when you have this many, it's crazy. Okay, so the next night, the 2 numbers that were spun. First one was the pink that is on my Guardians. So I did some work. Where am I? Okay. I did some work in the medium pink that's on this. And actually, the reason this is on the Q-snap is because the color tonight is this green right here. It's hard to tell because it's just a few. And I needed to, but I had to get there, right? So I've been working, while I was on Virtual Stitchers tonight, I was working on the border. I just started the green. I'm going to finish that up after I get off of here. So those are 2 bingos. That gray color in the border, I don't really have to worry about because it's a Weeks dye work. It's not a DMC, so it's not on a bingo card. The other one I worked on, this one has a story too. It's been worked on a couple times. It's come up on the bingo a couple times, and yep. So the night that I worked on Guardians first, and then I worked on this one, I was like, I've been wanting to work on this one so bad since I started it, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to stitch on it the rest of the night. So I finished up the color that was on the bingo. And then I picked another color that wasn't on a bingo card. And then when I went to do the bingo colors for last night, I realized that half of it was wrong and I had to pull out a bunch. So, like, I had most of this leaf up here that I had to pull out. So the color that first night, I think it was one of these pinks. It had to, yeah, it was this pink. And so, like I said, I can just continue to do it all after I got my 50 stitches. And then this green color was not on a bingo card. So then I worked on it. These two greens over here were both bingo colors. This one was last night's and this one was the night before, or one of the other nights. So that's what those are from. So I love it. I love it. It's so pretty. I want to work on it more and more and more. So. And then Stiach happened again. Put my calendar back up because I don't even know where I'm at. First, second was those two, then Stiach, and I got Stiach completely caught up, and then I did my bingo, which was, I only had one number that night. I think it's come up twice. Again, I had to kind of do a little stitching to get me to the color that I needed to work on. Which was this potted plant was the first bingo number, was the bingo number called on Saturday the 3rd. So this was only like 56 stitches. So I had just enough to get my bingo. Because I don't know if I said a bingo is 50 stitches if you're doing the insane cards, which I am. And then, excuse me, a couple nights later, it drew this number. And this was all I had left of this number, I believe, on the whole rest of it. And it was only like 48 stitches. No, 46 stitches. So I made each of these leaves just one stitch longer to get my 50. Yep. So, oh, and here's where this one's at. Now, you'll notice this is stitched all the way down the side, and I probably explained this before. I wanted to make sure I was going to have enough fabric because I had so much up here. I was afraid I wasn't going to have enough down here, but we're all good. That's the bottom. So, that one's been called up a couple times now. Then I spun. And, oh, the next night. No. I had to have spun that night. So I spun that night and I got my wreath. With the 2 nights, one right after the other. I'm sorry, I just spaced out and stopped talking. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. That's Saturday. Yeah. Saturday into Sunday. I guess I got that one done fast enough. Oh, because we did Stiach on Friday. And then, hold on. We did Stiach on Friday, and then I had one of the greens on the Forever and Ever. And then I had the pot, and then I spun wreath, which I need to find. Like I said, this thing has gotten all kinds of messy. I'm going to have to reorganize it shortly. Where is it? This is the craziest video I've ever done. Like, I kind of feel like it's a mess, but it means having a video. So. Here we are. All right. And so I started working on this one, and it was just dragging. I was on virtual stitchers with Kim, and it was putting me to sleep. And I was like, man. It's not one I typically really want a UFO, but every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to stitch on it. And so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stitch on it until midnight. And at midnight, I will respin the wheel. So I got to midnight. I spun the wheel. Wasn't really feeling it. Spun the wheel again. You know what? I'm going to stick with Reef. Put on a good TV show that it was keeping me interested, and here's where I got to. Yeah, almost done that night. Now, granted, when I started, it literally just had like this much of that color green. Just that much. And I got all the rest of this. So it was a pretty productive night. And that was spinning the wheel. So then we had the purple on to-do list, and then we had the black on Dashaway, which you've already seen. But Dashaway only had enough for me to do 50 stitches, but $37.99 came up on 4 of my 5 cards. So I needed some place where I could get another 150 stitches. And my mirror mask was it. I did end up having to do some frogging on this one and restitching, but that's where we got to. You can see there's quite a bit of that. That's why I don't normally let myself go this far without putting stitches there, because my ability to count is not good. But I gave myself the chance to get that $37.99 because it was so many stitches of it. But I got it done. And the only other whip I had with $37.99 on it was Lady of the Flag, and it was really far from where I was at. So I was like, don't want to do that. Don't want to take the risk on Lady of the Flag. So there's that. The next one I spun, oh, sorry, it's not supposed to be making noise. Okay, sorry about that. So the next set of bingo stitches I had was this one. This is Lizzie Kate's, I think it's called Praise God. I think. I'm not sure. But the color I needed was this brown. So I did end up having to do some extra stitching to get down to the next set of brown to finish it up. But that was my 50 stitches. This is Praise God by Lizzie Kate on 28 count Lugana and Gaia. This was one of my Fabric of the Months from Under the Sea Fabrics. As you can see, I kind of got away from trimming my fabric when I kit things up because I've messed up so many times. I think I don't have a stash. And then I realize it's because all my extra fabric is sitting in these bags with these projects. Like, I could trim this one in half. That's just, I really need to think about this a little bit more. Make myself feel a little better anyway. Okay. So that was that. And then I spun the wheel to keep stitching that night. And I spun, see if we can find it. I haven't been zipping these bags closed. I'm going to have to go through this whole thing and I'm done. This one, this Soda Stitch. This is World Postage Stamp. This one is on the bingo wheel, but only like a couple of the colors. So I was pretty safe to go ahead and work on it. So I got all of the Rome stamp done and started on the next stamp that I have no idea what it is. That's where I'm at. And I'm not sure if you can tell, But physical therapy is going well. My arm's moving really well. Still having a little resistance when I try and do some things, but it's doing much better. I'm feeling good about it. Let's see. So the next night, don't know. Did I not have a number? No, I'm thinking the World Postage Stamp came after the Mirror Mask, and then I did Praise God, and then I spun. I really should write a blog because my brain can't keep up with it all. I do too much. And this one. I'm telling you, I fall in love with it every time I bring it out. I don't know why I don't just stitch it. It's so gorgeous. This is Live, Love, Laugh by Stony Creek. I did change most of the colors in it. Not a huge change except for anywhere you see the light purple. It used to be a light blue, but it matched the fabric, so I had to swap it out. But I got the rest of the L done on Live. I got these cute little butterflies over here. Worked on some of the other two L's. And some back stitching in there. Finished that word every. In fact, I hadn't even started it. It's brand new. So, this to the end of the E across, that's an entire page done. I don't know if I'm going to go this way or this way, but whatever. It's gorgeous. And I kind of want to just leave the owl on it and have like it sitting on the branch. Like right there. Because it's just too cute. I think I'm almost caught up. Oops. Yes, because that was when I was working Tuesday night. And then, no, Tuesday morning. Did not work Tuesday night. Tuesday exhausted me. I got off at 6, got home at 7:15, went to sleep for like 2 hours, woke up, took the kids to the dentist, which is an hour drive there and an hour drive back, plus you know how long it takes at a dentist's office. They're both cleared. I set it up because Ryan was complaining of pain where he had the tumor removed out of his mouth, so I just wanted to make sure it wasn't growing back or anything like that, but he's all good on that front. Neither one of the kids had cavities. They both need to brush better, but you know, that's kids for you. So then I came home, had about 45 minutes to take a nap, and then I had to go to physical therapy, and then I came home and I took another nap, and then it was cooking dinner and cleaning, and I did get stitching done on Forever and Ever for my 50 bingos, but then that was it. I was like, I went right back to bed. I was so exhausted. Today, I slept up until physical therapy because I was exhausted from yesterday. Then I cooked dinner and did some cleaning, got on with the virtual stitchers and been stitching on Guardians after I ripped out some stitches on Forever and Ever. And here we are. We're all caught up. So I hope that wasn't too boring and treacherous. So that was my whips. No new starts. Well, sort of. That Advent animal. No finishes. Sort of. The Advent animal. So now we're to the haul portion of this show. Because I did get some help. And again, my lighting sucks, so do not trust it with the color on the fabric. Just know that it's beautiful and you can look about 10 other places for it. This is 32 count linen in Astraeus by Under the Sea Fabrics. It is a very purpley, oh, you can see the nice modeling in there. It looks a little darker than it is. It's purple on purple, basically. And it's gorgeous. You can really see the model in there. I went with linen, even though it's not my favorite, because I liked the deeper purple. I liked the little bit more modeling. The even weave was coming out like a softer lavender. I think I already have a kit for this to go into, or at least part of it. Again, with that whole, I need to leave some in my stash, so I feel like I actually have fabric. Did I tell you? I don't know if I told y'all. I joined Picture This, or Crazy Annie's Picture This Plus Fabric of the Month for next year in the neutrals, because when it comes to going and buying fabric, I want to buy the bright and shiny, pretty stuff, right? And I don't typically buy neutrals, but there are some projects that I need neutrals for, and then I don't really know how to buy them. So this way I've got 12 neutrals coming to me next year, over the course of the year. So, and maybe with receiving some here and there, I will start to be able to see what I like and what I don't. Who knows? So that's Astraeus. Then I also got my Cottage Garden Samplings, Bluebird of Happiness. I get one of these every month. I believe there's going to be 10 of them. I think. I'm not quite sure. 10 or 12. Who knows? So that was this month's. And with it, I ordered another little something special. Trisha sent these to me. These are John James size 28 petites. There's 50 of them. And when I got them, I was showing my husband, and I was like, look at all the needles. And he was like, why would you do that? Why would you sit on the chair and open up all the needles? Like, you're going to drop them and lose them in the seat, and then I'm going to poke my butt on them. So, it was pretty funny. Now I got to put all these back in here. But, yeah, I ordered 50 John James Petite size 28 needles. It's what I use the most. I'll use just about anything, but I like the petites because it makes for a better game of thread chicken. And 28 because, like, when I do my Heaven and Earth designs, I need the smaller needle. And yeah, so I'm going to refill my little thing with it and be good to go. So, plans. I have bingo. Now, the last couple draws I've only gotten one number. But that's going to continue until that event is over. Then it's just spinning the wheel. I did decide this month, because in arbitrary August, I would spin the wheel, stitch the thing, remove it from the wheel. This was because I felt the need to have to touch every project in a month. Right now, I'm not really having that urge. I'm okay with whatever I can do, and I think some of it is because when I got hurt and I couldn't stitch for a while, it messed up my whole flow. And then, you know, I was damn near monogamous for a month, and so I'm kind of letting it do whatever. I don't want to stitch on things twice in a row, so if that happens, I'll respin. And then I think that's it. I think that's my only rule. I may have another rule. I don't know. Obviously, it's not that important to me. So I'm just going to continue with that and see where we get. I'm anxious to get into December because, you know, close to the end of the month, I do a recap of all my finishes for the year. I do a recap of what I'll do, a whip parade. I will, like, all that stuff. I'm really anxious to get to that and to see where we've been this year. So look forward to that. It is going to get a little crazy. I'm going to try to get back to my weekly videos and stick with the weekly videos. However, next weekend I go out of town. Then it's Thanksgiving, so I don't know how much stitching I'll get done that week. I'll still be working, so some stitching will get done. You know, shortly after that, we have the chaos that is the Christmas season. Because it's not just Christmas Day. You've got shopping, you've got kids' school programs. My daughter's in band, so that has a program this year. Just all the things. We're not going anywhere for Christmas, but because we have something big coming in January. So then right after Christmas is New Year's, and we're going to London for 9 days? 7 days? I don't know. It's going to be chaos. So we have to drive across the state to get to the airport because the airport nearest to us was way too expensive. And then flying there, flying back. Just it's going to be madness and chaos, but there will be stitching, there will be videos, there will be photos and stuff like that to look forward to. Virtual stitching is still a thing on there almost every day. If you're interested, look us up on Facebook at virtualstitchers.com. Virtualstitchers.com. It's a Facebook group, people. It doesn't have a .com, but you know what I mean. If you have more questions, you can always ask me below. I think that's it. So I'm going to bid you adieu and see y'all next week. Happy stitching.